With the 14th pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jordan Hawkins from Connecticut.
Yep. Sure. Sounds right. I think this was Grady Dick's soft landing spot.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, having kind of talked to some folks around it. And if you can't get Grady Dick, Jordan Hawkins is a perfect, person that is a replacement here. Right. Hawkins, I think, is even a better shooter than Dick, if I'm being completely honest. His ability to fly off of screening actions, it's going to be shades of what we saw. I hope to God they put JJ Redick on screen and let him talk about Jordan Hawkins here, because he has literally been in this exact situation playing off of Zion Williamson in like 2-5 or 5-2 ball screen actions where he'd handle the ball and like they'd empty one side out on the court, let them play in like a two-man game essentially. And because JJ was such a good shooter, it was impossible to guard that action, I thought, especially when they flipped it and they let JJ be the screener. And he was just slipping, and you had to put all sorts of pressure on Zion. It was impossible. Yep. That's the kind of thing that they're creating here with this pick.
Yeah, and cue the John Mayer music, but like gravity is a huge part of this in New Orleans. When you have Zion Williamson on the floor, you need to find a way to have movement shooting around him in ways that keep the lane open. I think that what we saw, the best version of Zion Williamson, is just when he has spacing around him in some regard. And defensively, you need a 5. You need a big man to be able to anchor things on defense. So beyond that, lean into the shooting side of things. I like Jordan Hawkins. I think this is a good place for him to land too. Earlier impact in his career, allow a great offensive coach in Willie Green, who's going to be creative with the ways that he utilizes Jordan and can construct some things that make the most sense for him and for their team. I do have some concerns about the versatility of his game in a lot of different ways on both ends of the floor, but he's really, really good at what he does. And the common theme that we're seeing here, like 3 shooters in the last 4 picks, when you get to the middle part of the first round, value those role players that bring floor spacing to your team.
Yep. So looks like we have the pick at 15, which will be fun. Okay. Pretty good. And then Hawkins goes to New Orleans. Does anybody have any questions as we're talking about this? Because I don't. Yeah, Alex, we've been trying not to spoil picks throughout. If trades happen, we try to clue you in at the top by talking about the trade itself before spoiling who the actual pick is.
Yep.
That's kind of the goal here. I'm going to be very interested to see what Utah does. I think that, can't talk about that yet because I know who the pick is.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, we're 2 picks ahead already. Nice.
I know who the pick is for Atlanta. I'm sorry. Not
for Utah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, look, we're talking Cam Whitmore and Kobe Buffkin as the 2 guys who are, had the most buzz of being top 10 potential still on the board here. And you never know with the medicals and stuff with Whitmore, but my God, if I'm Utah sitting at 16, that makes a lot of sense to me. Just that type of, look what they could walk away with to start here. Whitmore and Hendricks, that's unbelievable.
I do that in a heartbeat. I'm not convinced of that. What is the explanation on the Whitmore slide? We've talked about that at the top, or like, what pick did we talk about that? Maybe pick 12 or so.
A little earlier than that. I think it was around 9,
11, maybe.
Yeah.
So go back and look at that. I don't know what to expect here from Whitmore moving forward. I don't know where the floor is, to be honest. Like someone saw a Utah beat writer say they didn't like Whitmore at all. Yeah, he was not really on their board at 9, from what I gather. I don't have a great inclination at 16. I will say if the person who gets picked at 16 gets picked at 16, I will talk a little bit through that. But yeah, interesting situation. Let's see here. Yeah,
Quickly,
HPPER says lowest Whitmore goes is 20. I do think that the Rockets would likely take him, but I don't know if they have him like significantly flagged.